Hey, it's a quick video on some ideas for repairing broken tabs for your bumper, and these are plastic. So this is kind of what one would look like, and as I moved along I tried different methods. I got some plastic rivets. I think those are the nicest, but the heads of the plastic rivets are too small. If you put a spacer in there of some sort, you need it to be as thin as you can get. They do make some spacers that are really flat. I'd recommend those. Seem to work the best. And as I do this, I was getting better and better. So this one was a big mess, but it worked well. What I did, well, you see it on the other one. Basically, I use a mesh screen, which I don't use some mesh screen, and stainless steel so it doesn't rust, hopefully. And here you can see where I'm decided to film this, and this is my last one I'm doing. Get better and better each time, and I'll explain this, but I just want you to see the mesh screen. So it's in an L shape there. Here you can see the top there, and it goes down here. And these are just bottle cap lids, plastic bottle cap lids. It's like off of a Gatorade or something like that. So I put the mesh in, bend it down, then I drill a hole in the center. This one's got a hole. This is just a little stopper thing holding it in place. So just to drill the hole in the center of the bottle cap. I cut the edge of the ring off. Then I take the mesh and I lay it on top, or the other side of this, and I heat it up with it's basically a soldering iron. It's got a flat tip on it, and I melt the mesh into the plastic. And the pieces I use to trim off, I just save these and I use them for welding material. And so anyway, so you melt the mesh into the bottle cap with the hole in it, and then you need something to hold it in. I use the rivet, but I don't recommend using the rivet. I'd recommend something, because the mesh will heat up and I don't want it to melt the rivet. It didn't do that, but it felt like it could have. So I got an old piece of plastic that broke off. Here, I'll show you. You know, something similar to this. Is just something I had laying around. In fact, that would work pretty good. And I just shoved it in here, and that just holds this in place. And then I bent this down so it has a little bit of downward pressure on it. And then I learned this one, the reason why it's so messy is I thought I could just melt through the paint. You can't. I mean, you can, but it makes a big mess, and it melts the underlying plastic before it penetrates the paint. So in this one I sanded it a little bit. This one I just used a hand sander, because it's, anyways, so went from got the job done, kind of knowing what I'm doing, to finally the last one should look pretty well. So what my deal here is, I'm going to take that flat soldering iron, and I'm just going to place it on this mesh, and it's going to melt into the plastic. And once the mesh is basically below the surface, then I'll take some other plastic. This came with a kit. I don't even know what it is. I think it's a hybrid. Kind of melt over it. That's why it's black here, just to kind of cover over it. And then I'll take this stopper out, which is just holding the alignment for me so I don't mess that up. And then I'll just use a pop rivet, plastic pop rivet, pop it in there, and I'll be done. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. It's probably going to be ugly, but you shouldn't be able to see this. This is the front of the bumper. This one is going to, I think, come out pretty nice. Like, I could sand this down a little bit, and then or just shoot it with some white paint, and you probably wouldn't be able to see it from the front of the car, because nobody's like in there looking around in between, because the rest of your bumper sits close to that. Anyways, let me finish this job, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, just a quick update. So when you put the soldering iron, it's hot right now, I just lay it on there and almost let the weight of the soldering iron rest on that. That's all you need, and it'll start melting the mesh into the plastic. As you do that, and the surrounding plastic melts, it'll start coming up through it, and then you can smooth it out with the top of it. And I stopped because I wanted you to see that. It's kind of taking place there. Then I just use a penny to like put pressure to where I need to, so I don't burn myself. So that's what I'm doing right there. Okay, this is it with no added plastic. This mesh slowly going in there. This plastic really turns liquidy as you work, and the penny helps to kind of, you can see it when it starts getting really liquidy. And again, you kind of try to move it around. You get the gist of it. I don't know, I'll probably sand off, just hand sand this extra off here. This is where another trick people do is, I don't see any extra material. I guess what I'm looking at, you'd want to make sure you get the same material, because this is actually a two-part. But let's say this was the same material, you could take a little snip of that and use that up here, because then it's the same kind of plastic. I do not see any extra material that's on this white portion. They really used up pretty much all of it. You could even like maybe snip a little piece out of right here, and that would work good to melt on that, and I might do that. Anyways, that's kind of done. All I need to do is rivet it in. It's really soft, so it takes time to dry. And yeah, sorry about that, the battery died. In the meantime, what size? I started out with 80 grit. I finished up with 220. I just hand sanded this, and it came out really good. You can tell, you should always run your finger over it, and if you can feel it, it's going to show up in the paint. But as you can see, it came out really messy, a little bit better, and then this one came out really good. And I did end up adding a little bit of a plastic rod to it. I think what happens is this plastic rod has a higher melting point than the surrounding plastic, so, or let me rephrase that. This is a little bit harder than the surrounding, so as I was sanding, it feels like it wants to knock down the outer before it knocks down the inner, so that's kind of a challenge. I just need to put a rivet in there. That hole is pretty lined up pretty good, and like if I wanted to, I could even start melting more over here, but this is plenty strong. This is in here really good. So I think what I'll do is I just wiped it down with a clean cloth and some you can just go to like the Walmart and get this 91 proof alcohol, and just any clean cloth, wipe that up. And I'm thinking about shooting some paint on it. I'm not gonna color match it, I just want to see how it comes out, just using some, I don't know if I have any gloss white left, but we'll see how that comes out. Hopefully it won't look too bad. But so let me put a pop rivet in here, and maybe shoot that with some paint, and we'll see how that looks. Okay, so I hit it with some paint, we'll get in. It's still really wet, so it's going to have a little bit of higher gloss on it. I just masked it off, I should have showed that. And then I pulled the tape off while it was still wet to try to get the edges down. But I put it on really thick because it was having some coverage problem on top. And this is just, you know, some ultra 2x cover paint. Yeah, it's got a lot of runs. It's a really bad job. But from a distance, you can't tell, and that's what I'm looking for. And I just wanted to see how it could come out. And what I might do, it's hard because this has got clear coat on it. And what I'll probably do is get some rubbing compound and just hand rub the edge and see if I can't smooth that in a little bit. And it should come out looking good. And it's interesting. Here you can see my shoe reflection of the paint. See, but anyway, so that one came out really good. So you could do, as you get better at something like this, set a chip in it. So I just shot the edge. Got a run in it, but again, no one's going to see this side of it. But you could go really far with this, and I could see if you took your time and like use the what they call glazing putty. You could put some glazing putty in there and really smooth it out and make it to where somebody couldn't tell there was a repair there. Anyways, so, and then I put my pop rivet in. This plastic happens to be black, so it's hard to see there. This one's kind of nice because you can see the repair, but you can see where you could even take time on this side if you wanted to make it so you couldn't tell you did the repair. Anyhow, so on the top there, it doesn't look too bad from this angle. That's about it for what I'm going to show. I don't know if I'm going to, maybe if I want, after I hit it with rubbing compound, I might show you that, but I might not, because it's going to take a while for this to dry. Probably, you need to really let this dry for like 48 hours before you start monkeying around with it, because the paint is thick like that. It's going to take a long time to harden up. Anyway, so I'll call this a win for right now.